What happened was, I'd done this gig in Northampton, warm-up gig, and I'd go through the local papers when I do them gigs, because I think, connect with the people of that town. And there was a story, right, and I'm doing it off the cuff, right, so this is not like sort of a great big campaigning thing for me. This is like a live thing, live in a particular town, very specific to that particular context, right? Okay. So it's like if you're doing like a joke at, I don't know, a bar mitzvah or a christening, or like, doing a best man speech, you would say things that are very pertinent to that particular situation. Now, one of the stories I came across described a series of attacks in an underpass, right, sort of by an as yet uncaught bloke who was wearing, like it seemed to me while scanning live on stage, scanning this newspaper, particularly preposterous clothes, right? And whilst I was able, on stage, live in Northampton, I was able to say, obviously, it's terrible that there are people committing these kind of crimes in Northampton. That's terrible. And for the victims, that's obviously awful. I made that clear in that context, in that situation. But, like, people obviously, sort of, when people retrospectively write a story about that, they remove the mitigation. They remove the bit where you make it sort of palatable. So, like, so what I was actually, like, talking about, I sort of goes, oh, like, look at this bloke who's carried out these crimes. It described his clothes. He was going, the assailant was wearing lime green trousers and a purple spotted hat and like sort of knee-high socks, and he had like these ridiculous clothes on, right? And also the attacks took place in an underpass right next to Lady Lane, right? And I said, well, there's obviously anatomical metaphors there to
Why do you do
made.
this sort of thing?
Because I sort of, because it was funny, it was funny, and I'm a comedian, and that's sort of my job, to be funny in those situations. Where I suppose you could say I went far was like, I sort of got me in the audience that night in Northampton where these events took place, and was obviously like the people of Northampton would have more right to be offended than anybody else because that's where it took place, but they were obviously confident and comfortable that I had no malicious intent and that the sort of the target of the joke was the language used in the newspaper report, obviously not the victims of attacks who what sort of like
who complained? How did it get? Why was it an issue? I think it was put up on
YouTube, like the footage, and like what it is there's people that have to fill newspaper columns. So if there's something where you think, content, and also people, like if people latently have the desire to have a go at me because of what I represent in terms of anti-establishment ideas, because of the physical appearance and some of the louche and hedonistic spoutings that I've, over the last couple of years that have come out of my face, I suppose it's like an opportunity for people to kick back a little bit. But because I suppose if you simplify it to, don't make jokes about anything that's serious, then then all right, I suppose so. All right, then we won't make it. Obviously, attacks of that nature are very, very serious. But if you forbid us and prohibit and impede our rights to talk about things and joke about things, I didn't say anything that I wouldn't have said. I suppose I wouldn't have said it if then people, if they were sat there, I suppose I'd have gone, oh God, sorry about that. I suppose I'd be more sensitive.
You wouldn't know if they were sat there.
Yeah, but if they had been there, I reckon that I would have been able to deal with it in the situation. I'd have gone, oh my God, I didn't mean that was bad, and I would have been.
How would you know they were there? They would put their hand up and go, "That was me," are they?
Well, I suppose not. But if those people were offended and if they came to me, then I would talk to them and I could be able to have a dialogue with those people. But the people that are claiming to be offended by that event, they're not offended by that event. They're offended by the existence of people that don't live their lives according to the cosh and shackles of conformity. They're not the people that have written in newspapers aren't going, what? Oh, how dare! It's not a legitimate feeling. It's utterly disingenuous. It's just an opportunity to be oppressive. Coming through the airport.
You can't say that. All you can say is, I'm sorry if you took it the wrong way, but this is what I meant.
I have said that, Matthew. I have said that. No, I have said that. But I think it's far more dangerous that we create a context where people can't communicate than we have where people, occasionally things are insensitive. All right, that is bad. But I could apologise to those people. Of course, if I met those people, I'd say, oh, sorry. Yeah, I just got carried away. I was on stage. I was reading that local newspaper. We all got carried away. I was improvising. But I didn't say anything that was insensitive about you. I would never say anything that would undermine victims of those kind of circumstances. And in fact, you know me well, and I've written a book about it. I've been a victim of similar crimes myself. As a child, I was a victim of sexual abuse. Right? So I sort of feel that, and I don't mean, here's my passport to say what I like about anything, but personally, I think you can apply humour to any situation as long as you're respectful and as long as you're not coming from a perspective of malice towards people that are vulnerable. And I've looked inside myself and I know that my intention intentions are good, right? And like sort of one of the things like that was written, I suppose the thing that's sort of most offensive, some bloke in the Sun, I don't remember his name, but at the end of his article, it was kind of like, you know, the people of Northampton should attack Russell Brand with a baseball bat. Like, it was sort of like, you know, well, the people of Northampton, yeah, it was like a proper incitement to violence, right? And like, but like they were there. The people of Northampton were who I was talking to, and they knew that I come from a position of mirth and love and trying to overturn fear, so that you don't walk around being all terrified, or I might be attacked, or you know what I mean. Sort of, I don't, you know, sort of. This is not a situation where I like sort of say where I waded in like John the Baptist. But I was there to do comedy, and that's what I did, and it was funny in that situation. And I would like, you know, and I owe, you know, and if the people like, you know, people involved in that or any similar situations feel offended, then like, you know, they have my heartfelt concern and my endless love. But people using it as an opportunity to be oppressive, repressive and controlling, and to inhibit free speech and to incite violence off the back of it, they don't get no apology from me. They're my enemies. They've always been my enemies, and I'm glad of the opportunity to confront them people, and I hope it continues. I hope that I continue to get the opportunity to confront people who want us to remain ignorant and oppressed. I'll take it gladly. I think it'll be a right proper laugh. I'll tell you why. Because I'm a criminal. Every time I say a song, everyone gets
so
it wrong.
much like Eminem now.
Well, I'm not like Eminem
No, I
in many
understand
ways.
your point. I do, yeah. You know, I think people should be allowed to joke about anything. But
Yeah.
so, did you get a chance to reply? Did you get, you know, like, did they call you up for a quote?
Well, yeah, they did, and sort of my quote was, "Oh, if I've offended any of the victims, if I've offended anybody involved in that, then God, I'm deeply sorry. I would never offend it. Like, you know, that was not my intention. You know, it's sort of like, I suppose, you know, this is the difficult thing for me, Matt. Is it's not like this is not something where it's been the abuse of people with authority and power over vulnerable people. So this is not something where I can go, right, let's take this to the absolute hill, because it was a bit daft. But like, what I know inside myself is that, you know, it came from a place of wanting to create laughter, and I wasn't trying to victimise people that are already in a vulnerable position, because that's not what I'm about. You know, and so, like, you know, so, but what I resent is people like you hijacking it as an opportunity to actually be malicious and violent. Mostly you. You.
What I resent is people like you hijacking it.
No, not you. You've been lovely so far.
I'm just being devil's advocate. I am on your side in this, but
it's
I
the
wouldn't
perfect
always
job
be.
for you. No, I know you wouldn't be. Yeah, I know, like, you know, sort of, and also I'm a kind of like, I know when I do something out of order, which all of us do as human beings alive, you know, like sort of, I'd go, oh yeah, sorry, that was stupid, and like, you know, I resent any sort of, I'm sorry for any, like, if people are actually offended by it, but I'm not sorry if people are going to get like up on their high horses and their ivory towers and just use an opportunity to be vitriolic
You should
and
have played
ugly.
"Leave Me Alone" by Michael Jackson.
Coming up
I'm a
next,
criminal.
there's a little track. No, but it's quite good. To tell you the truth, I've always wanted an opportunity to play "Criminal" by Eminem. I used to, when that song came out, I thought, oh, bloody hell, perhaps the day will come when I'll legitimately be able to play that, you know, in some sort of correct context. Yeah, but like, it's difficult, really, isn't it? Like, so good.
Well, the thing is, you're not being sued, you're not being, you know, it's not going to go anywhere, and I think if everyone saw the whole facts in front of them, saw the video of you doing it, they go, oh, actually, no, it's all right.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I see what he's doing. He's mucking about. He's just, you know, that's a joke. There's no malice in that. So it's like to imply that it's malicious is sort of incorrect. Whereas to say, you know, attack Russell Brand with a baseball bat, that is malicious. That's coming from a place of vitriol and bile and ugliness. But the punishment is that person has to live with that inside them. Whereas we continue forward.